You mentioned in your address about expanding the number of ADF personnel and about expanding it to non-citizens. Could you provide a bit more detail on that? It has been discussed, the idea of enlisting Pacific Islanders or perhaps members of the Five Eyes nations, but we don't have any detail from the government. And how far could that go? How many numbers of people could we be talking about there?
Yeah, good question. I mean, so I think you should read what I've said today and what's in the National Defence Strategy as opening this door. There are questions and issues that we would need to work through in respect of any category of non-Australian citizens that might enter into the Australian Defence Force. But I think the important thing is we've got to start looking at this. I mean, an obvious place to start looking is amongst AUKUS partners or Five Eyes partners. I think people can correct me if I'm wrong, but there are 600,000 Kiwis who live in Australia right now. Again, that is another obvious place for us to look to. We are thinking about ways in which we can involve the Australia's Pacific family more in our Defence Force work, and there is certainly an interest around the Pacific in respect of that. Now, as I say, there's issues in relation to each of those categories and groups of people, but this is a Rubicon that has been crossed by the defence forces of our friends and allies. You'll see Nepalese and Fijians serving in the British Armed Forces. You'll see Micronesians serving in the US Armed Forces. So it is a bridge that's been crossed by others. We do have a significant workforce challenge, which I've articulated. We are starting to turn that around in terms of recruitment and retention of those currently in the force, but it's not just a matter of maintaining the current numbers in the force. We need to grow the force through to 2040, and to do that, we, I think, need to be thinking about these avenues and this wider pool of people that we can draw from.
Next question is from Tess Economou.
Thank you very much for your time today. You've committed to improving culture and that the workforce plan will be informed by the Royal Commission. Just touching on retention and recruitment problems in the military, do you accept that the issues raised have caused them?
In the Royal Commission?
Yep.
I think the Royal Commission has exposed challenging evidence and facts for the Defence Force. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And we take the work of the Royal Commission really seriously. It's very important work, and I acknowledge Matt Keogh, who's in the room today, who's been leading our response to the recommendations of the Royal Commission. But not for a second would I seek to diminish the evidence and the testimony that's been provided by so many people to the Royal Commission and the stories that have been told there and the picture that it paints. It is really important that we have culture operating at the highest possible level. Culture that is befitting a very unique workplace, but culture which encourages people to participate in it across the full breadth of the diversity of Australian society, because we need to be drawing on that entire talent pool if we're going to have the numbers that we need to have. We see there are many lessons that we can be learning from the Royal Commission. That's evidenced in the way in which we have implemented the interim recommendations of the Royal Commission already. We look very much forward to the final report of the Royal Commission, and as I said to the Royal Commission itself, we are utterly committed to adopting the thrust of the recommendations which come from the Royal Commission.